Good evening, everyone. Tonight we're going to talk about the Medical Evacuation Doctrine course. If you're a medevac pilot or a 67J, this is going to be a requirement for completion before you get your flight wings. So you can't leave flight school without completing this course. So what is it? This class is 10 days long and it covers all medevac. So that's land, sea, air, intratheater, intratheater. It covers everything. It's just a 10-day course on anything that involves medical evacuation. This is an introductory level class, so there is no prerequisite. Anyone with limited prior exposure to medevac can go to this course and be just fine. Anyone can go to it. So it's not just for 67Js. 15 alphas can go to it. 68 whiskeys can go to it. Flight paramedics can go to it. It's open for anyone. As a matter of fact, we had a major in there who I believe was a doctor. So it's open to a very wide audience. You just got to get permission to go to it. If you're a 15 alpha and you are planning on going to a medevac unit, I highly encourage you to try to get into this course before leaving Fort Rucker. I do know it's a little bit more challenging for you guys to get in there for whatever reason. I don't know. I know the medical doctrine course loves to have anyone to come there, but I do know it takes some permission from battalion in order to go. But I highly encourage anyone who's at Fort Rucker and they think they're going to have some type of involvement with a medevac unit or any medical unit to definitely go to this course. So this involves not just air medevac, but ground medevac. And I want to emphasize that. As pilots, we get very locked into air medevac. And I'll even take the leap and go ahead and say everybody in the Army really depends on air medevac. But there's ground medevac. As a matter of fact, ground does more medevacs than air does. I mean, obviously, air is the preferred method. It's extremely fast. We don't have to drive anywhere. We're less vulnerable depending on who you're fighting. It just makes sense. But ground medevac is a huge part of what we do. They are a force multiplier just like we are, and it's extremely important for us to understand those other assets on the ground that we work next to. So this class is going to inform you about all of those different assets and resources that we can use as medical planners as we go on in our careers. So week one, it's all academics. This entire course is all academics. The very last part of the course is an exercise, and I'll get to that, but it's in a classroom. But week one is academic focused, and I'm going to cover the topics that really stood out to me while I was there. These aren't the only classes you'll get, but I felt like these were the most useful classes. So you'll get a class on the history of medevac, and I mean, surprisingly, medevac dates all the way back to the Roman times, believe it or not. It got really good under Napoleon Bonaparte. I feel like the Army in general got really good under him. And then there was a lot of advancement made in the Civil War for medevac. And then Vietnam, of course, that's where the founding fathers of Dust Off made their name for air ambulances, thanks to Charles Kelly and Patrick Brady. Medevac is forever solidified in history because of those individuals in Vietnam. So, and then it takes us to present day, where we are at now. And medevac has an extremely interesting history. So this class, I really enjoyed it. Pretty brief class. but they packed a lot in there, let's just say that. You'll then go over the Army health system. So basically that class is how the Army medical units integrate into the ground force in their plan and how we support the maneuver units on the battlefield. You'll go over the Geneva Conventions. I felt like that is an extremely useful class, especially for medevac pilots. We're flying marked aircrafts. There's a lot of rules and regulations that go into that you have to be aware of. You'll get a you'll get a roles of care class. So that's from point of injury, where the soldier sustains the injury, and it takes you all the way through the roles of care. So role 1 would be the battalion aid station. Role 2, which supports the battalion aid station but is behind it, and that is your role 2 medical companies, your brigade support medical companies, area support medical companies, and then behind that you would have your combat support hospitals, and then even beyond that you have your role 4 hard facilities that are CONUS based. You'll go over GSAB operations. So for those of you who do not know, if you're 67Js, you will be going to a GSAB, which is a General Support Aviation Battalion, and you'll fall under them. But you'll get a brief class on how that organization operates, and you'll particularly focus on how the Charlie Company falls under them. And then medevac companies. So you won't just focus on the air ambulance company, although that is a big part of it, but you'll also focus on the ground ambulance company, also known as the GAC. That is a very valuable asset when you're talking division level operation, corps level, division level operations. And then you'll get a class on all medical units. And I felt like this was an extremely valuable class as far as understanding all of the actual medical assets within the Army. A lot of people don't know about them. I mean, we get in our little bubbles, especially in the air ambulance company. We feel like, oh, we just pick them up at point of injury and we fly them to the Roll 2 or the cache and we're good. That's the only units we need to know about. There's a ton of units out there that could make our lives a heck of a lot easier if we understand they're out there and understand how to use them. Especially going on later on in our careers, because as 67Js, I know a lot of us hate to talk about it, but you're going to be a medical planner one day. Actually, like a part of your job as a platoon leader is going to be a medical planner. That is a duty and a responsibility that you will have as a platoon leader, is knowing that medical planning piece. So the more you know about the other medical units out there on the battlefield, the better off you are and the more useful you are to your command and the maneuver units. I felt like that was a very useful class, so to go over that one more time, the all medical units in the Army. Roles of care obviously was a good one as well, but I think the medical units in the Army class is very enlightening to a lot of people. So this week ends with a 80 question exam. I didn't think it was that hard. From what I can remember, every single person in our class passed. You do have to get at least an 80%, but it's pretty easy. Just pay attention and study. Now, the last week of this course is a brigade level medical exercise. So you get a situation in a particular area of the world, and you're supporting a brigade combat team, and the ground force part of it is already planned out. All you have to do is come up with the medical concept of support, how you're going to support this BCT in their operations throughout every single phase. This exercise can be intimidating to some people who have never participated in something like this, but this is a very big part of the course because it brings everything together and it forces you to utilize what you learned in the course. And it's a confidence builder to you because you show yourself how much you know. It also forces you to get down into the doctrine and go, okay, how many patients can we move from this area? Okay, we cannot support, our casualty estimates say that we're going to take more than what we can actually support. Who else do we have to plus us up on medevac platforms? Oh, we got a ground ambulance back at this location. Well, let's talk to the LNO and let's see if we can secure some of their FLAs to support our mission. So it forces you to kind of get down in the weeds and like look at MTOs of other units and everything. And this exercise just really brings it all together for everybody. So my final thoughts on the course, I thought it was really good, and I think everybody should go to the medical evacuation doctrine course. Especially if you're a 60 pilot. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to go to the Air Assault Battalion or maybe fly VIP. But there's also that chance that you might be a medevac pilot as well. I mean, the 67Js don't have a monopoly in the Charlie Company. I mean, I know that we are the preferred, but 15 Alphas can come in there and fly with us as well. So our 15 Alpha brothers and sisters need to be up to speed on this stuff. It's a very beneficial course for them. And also, too, just in the Army in general, when you're in a meeting or on staff somewhere, you can speak that medical language to people who need to talk to people with an aviation background. So that's it. That really wraps it up. Thank you all so much for all of the support that I've been getting on all my videos. I want to thank everybody who has subscribed to me and who watch my videos. Thank you all so much. All have been so supportive. So going forward, now that we're completely done with the flight school series, we're not stopping here. I mean, we're going to come out with a lot more helpful topics to keep helping you guys make it through flight school. Got a lot of videos coming up in the making. We're probably going to do a table talk series. We're probably going to do weather brief. We're just going to do a lot of topics, and I'm open to suggestions. So if you have my email, or if you just want to put it down in the comments, please do that. I love it. I read all of them, and I respond to all of them. So thank you guys so much for everything you guys do for me, and I'll keep making the content.